Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to another Tuesday night hangout with the All In team. I am Dr. Steve, joined as always by Cheryl Samit, Jorge Zuluaga, and Simon Cornelius, and we are here tonight to talk to you about something really important because this is really an ironic thing we're going to be talking tonight because most people, if you ask them, really don't like change. They resist it, they resent it, they like the status quo. And yet, most people crave a change in their life, a change in their bank account, a change in their lifestyle, maybe their job, the amount of free time they have. They want change. And yet most people don't like change. So what happens when those two things collide? Well, not much. Not much. So, you're talking to four people of different backgrounds, different professions, different countries even. And tonight we're going to talk to you a little bit about a couple things. Number one, we're going to talk to you about what you need to do if you really want to impart change in your life. And we're also going to talk to you a little bit about what was the straw that broke the camel's back for us. What prompted us to create change in our lives, and just tell you a little bit about what was the impetus, what prompted us to do something different. Do something different. Because each one of us has our own profession, each one of us has our own background. We'll tell you a little bit about that. And we're going to keep, of course, this under 30 minutes like we always do. But just kind of sit back and listen to our stories, because I'm sure you're going to be able to relate to one of us, if not all of us, and understand what needs to be done if change is to take place. So, in the grand tradition of chivalry, we are going to start with ladies first. And I'm going to go to Cheryl. And Cheryl, I'm just going to throw it at you. I'm not even going to ask you a question. You heard what I said. I'm just going to throw it to you. Take it away.
All right, all right. What's up, everybody? Tonight, Cheryl Samit, super mom, working mompreneur. A little bit about my background. I'm a degreed mechanical engineer, represent mechanical engineers, and so I work as an engineer for a big company, and I guess had that job or worked with the company for like 14 years now. So I was following the program, go to school, get the job, have a family, all that stuff. I have two little kids, I have a great husband, we live a nice dual income lifestyle, and I realized I wanted to make a change probably within, it was definitely like the big driver for me was just within the past, like I'd say 6 months to a year. And that was when I realized that my little boy is going to go to kindergarten starting in August of next year. And what that means to me is he'll be in public school. He will not be at his daycare where they provide after school care, for through the working parents' hours, which means usually early in the morning through later into the evening. So I was remembering back to my childhood when my mom happened to be a teacher, and so she'd get off from teaching every day at like 3 o'clock. She was home when me and my sister got home, where we could start on our homework, we could play, we could go do things with her. And my dad was at work, of course, until 5 or 6 o'clock at night. If he wasn't on a work trip, he'd be home after that for dinner. So realizing that, my firstborn, my little boy, will be going to public school and will, be benefited by a parent being home in the afternoons, really kicked me into gear and made me realize that there's more to life than just working, sitting at a desk all day. There's lives that I need to impact. Number 1, 2, and 3 being the lives in my family, and so just that sense of family and that sense of time freedom is what really kicked me in the butt to get me going down a path of creating income from home.
Good. And Jorge, over to you. What's your story? Lay it on us.
Okay, thank you. Hi guys. For me, I studied marketing overseas. I studied in Colombia. Marketing. I came here to the U.S. For whatever reason I came here, even though I was born here. one of the things that really, we could say, like Steve said, that the straw that broke the camel's back is I travel a lot. I used to travel a lot. And yes, I have two kids, one of 12, one of 8, almost 9. And it was sad to see sometime when you could leave on a Sunday evening and come back on a Friday evening, and basically you're missing the whole week of them. I mean, yeah, they're young and everything, but still walk them to school and just share with them, and you know that, I mean, you miss them, and you can feel that they miss you. Um, and it's very stressful. It's very stressful. For some people, it doesn't really matter. For me, is after 9/11, I got really scared about flying. I mean, I know nothing happens. I know aviation is one of the safest things compared to driving in traffic, especially in my case in Miami, where everybody's, anyway. But it scares me a bit. It scares me a bit always when I get on the plane. I get very tense. And also the stress, because I work with a lot of franchisors, and I always see the stress that these people have of being laid off. And I mean, they're building all their career, all their stuff. They're depending on one or two incomes, and it's only day after tomorrow the CEO says, you know what, we didn't get the bonus. We got to lay off people to get more for our bottom line profit. Our bottom line to be bigger, so we could get an extra bonus, an extra third house, whatever. So that really stresses me out a lot. And I say, you know what, I'm not going to wait till I get that pink slip, and that I'm just going to go out and start working on my thing as well, and then get to it, get that income, get that passive income, so I could depend when later on, when that eventually happens, because it will happen. I mean, one way or the other, for whatever reason, you'll be out of work because you're too old, you're too expensive, or whatever reason. Mm-hmm. At least I have some place where I could fall into, which I've already been building up through time. Yep, that's about it.
Yeah, and you're right about that, Jorge. It's just a matter of time, right? It happens to everybody.
It's a matter of time. Yeah, it's not if it will happen. It's when will it happen. So you got to be ready. So
it's the unfortunate reality of an employee.
Exactly. So you can have the pressure of being without work, your 9-to-5 job, and start to do something, or you can start something now while you have that 9-to-5 job or job. So it's really a decision which is wiser. In my case, I thought it was a lot wiser. You know what? Then we work part-time, and so when that day eventually happens, I'm ready and prepared.
So Simon, different country, different education, different background, yet here we all are together. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you wound up here.
Well, I wound up here. Actually, I took a car to come here, but I know that's a bad joke. And it's interesting because, picking up what Jorge just said, and I'll bring in what Cheryl said, because I'm an engineer. Well, I used to be an engineer, and maybe like most people listening to this call here or watching this video, is that I've lost count of how many different things I've done in the past. Network marketing, who knows, like some internet stuff, tried all sorts of stuff. But at the same time, I had this comfortable job, job, that I actually did like. There were some challenges, some good challenges, but there's also some downsides to it. So at the same time, while part of me wanted to go out off and do my own thing, make 6 figures with network marketing, do this and that, and walk away from my job, I still had that safety net underneath me. Excuse me. Still had that safety net. And that was all I had to do. In fact, one of my life coaches said, all you really have to do is just to take one step, just put one foot outside of the comfort zone. And there's a lot of talk about doing that. And yet I never did, and probably 90% of people that I used to hang around with, I still do to a certain degree, that they were afraid to put that one step over the comfort zone, to move out, just to test the waters, to go over there. That was me for a long, long time. And back in 2001 or so, there was a thing called a dot-com bubble burst, where 50% of the employees that I was working with and 50% of my team got laid off within a year. It was scary. So that was number one. Number two happened in 2009. Is the same company, still an employee, making some good money. 2009, the company goes bankrupt. Ooh, we didn't see that happen, right? And everyone's just scrambling around. I'm going, I need to start working now. And that was a big kick in the butt for me. But I still got a little bit complacent because we got bought out by another company, same line of work, same job, same pay, same everything, except this time the industry that I was in was going down and the market was just tailing off to nothing. So I had about a year, maybe a year and a half heads up, and I said, you know what, third time, this is it. Because you can either make the decision to, like Jorge said, to make the change yourself, or you can wait for someone else to make the decision for you.
Yep.
Now, the decisions weren't made for me, in essence, but I actually embraced it because I was one of the only people, I think I scared the heck out of human resources, that I was looking forward to the layoff package. It was awesome. So, long story short is either you choose to put one step out of the comfort zone, or someone's going to just push you out of it, and you have to make a difference. So hope that helps.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was great. And it's I guess mine is different. I've been self-employed since I graduated from school. I'm one of those people since early on. I knew that I wasn't very good at letting other people tell me what to do. So, that didn't pay off so well in school, having other people tell you what to do all the time. So when I graduated, I had no idea what I wanted to do profession-wise. But I just I always, my strengths were always kind of like math and science and stuff like that. So I kind of just sort of backwards my way into going to medical school, becoming an eye doctor, and then of course becoming self-employed. So I spent a lot of time, I spent a lot of money getting my education, getting my degree, building up a practice, investing in it, all these different things, and doing it on my own, right? Doing it my own way. And I thought I just had it made in the shade, right? No one can tell me what to do. No one is my own. No one's going to tell me when I can take a day off, when I can take a vacation. And this is fantastic, right? I got married. I have 2 kids like Jorge. I've got 2 boys right around the same age, 9 and 11. And I started thinking about that, right? I started thinking about that. Like, what was my impetus for change? My impetus for change was really twofold. Number one, my kids were getting bigger, and I was working 6 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, and it sucked. I mean, I was getting up. I would get up. They'd go to school. I'd come home. They'd go to bed. And every Saturday, every single Saturday, come rain or shine, I was working. So if they had birthday parties they were going to, if they had events, if they had games, basketball games, football games, soccer games, I was missing everything. I was missing everything. And so that was always eating at me, but I never really did anything about it until about 6 or 7 years ago. I live in South Florida like Jorge does. We had a couple of nasty, nasty hurricanes blow through town.
Mm-hmm.
And my office had a palm tree go through. My office is, I have a corner office, so I have glass, and I had a palm tree come through my whole office. There's glass, dirt, sand, tree, leaves everywhere, and I can't work. My practice was closed for a week. And that was the first thing, the knife in the side that kind of woke me up and said, my office is closed, but my employees still want to get paid. The rent still has to get paid. The phone, the power, every other bill still has to be paid. And for this week, I have no money coming in. None whatsoever, because I can't be in the office to work. And like most doctors, like most professionals, if you're not in the office seeing clients, seeing patients, you're not generating any revenue. And that was kind of like my holy cow moment. Like, what if this was longer term? Like, I was just fortunate that it was a week, but that week seemed like a really long time of like, when is this going to get fixed? When can I get back in my office? When can I start making money again? And it started me thinking about, well, what if something happened to me? Like, what if I got hurt? What if I got sick? What if a loved one got sick and I just simply couldn't go back to work? What would that mean for me? Big, big trouble, because I am A, the primary breadwinner in my house, and B, accustomed to a certain level of income. And going back to what you said, Simon, you comfortable making a good living. Each of us is a professional, and therefore we had a professional income. it hurts to lose that income. Now, it doesn't hurt any more than someone who has a lower income because you get accustomed to a certain standard of living. You know, you're just broke at a higher level, right? You're broke with a nicer car and a nicer house, but you're still broke. In the end, if you lose that income, you're in big trouble, big trouble. So that, for me, was really the big impetus to say, all right, something has to change. I have to start doing something else. Not something completely else, but something in addition to. And I think that's one of the biggest confusions that people get when they listen to some of these hangouts or see some of our videos or read some of our blogs, is they're under the impression that they have to drop whatever they're doing and do only this. And that's not right. What we do is very, very part-time. But again, like Simon alluded to, and like we've talked to in other hangouts, you know, you pack a second parachute when you get on that plane in case the first one doesn't open. You don't wait to see if the first one doesn't open and say, oh, gee, I probably should have brought another parachute. No, you do it now while you still have plan A, and you get to work on your plan B. So when I say do it now, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about change tonight, right? And the moral of the story, the title of this hangout tonight is really nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right.
And like Simon said, if you don't get outside of your comfort zone, if you stay in your whole little box, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. You know, all these cliches, you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. It's a fact. It's 100% a fact. So let's talk a little bit about change. And Cheryl, I'm going to go back to you now because we talked about like the impetus of what caused each of us to start looking for something or to make a change. What was the change that either you found, or like how did you start looking for it, or what ultimately did you decide to start doing differently in order to impart a change in your life?
I had a good friend of mine introduce me to a set of seminars. It was a T. Harv Eker seminar, and this one happened to be the Millionaire Mind Intensive in Atlanta, and this was 2005, I believe. So before I had that, you know, impetus for change, my little boy hitting, you know, kindergarten age, and wanting to be home for him in the afternoon, or being home for him in the afternoon, I was already on the path with personal development and learning about different ways toward financial freedom for quite some time. I guess So those sets of seminars really helped. And again, the book, I think we mentioned it on the previous Hangouts, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, is a fantastic read. Another one that I did, which I met most of y'all through, is Catch Fire University with Melanie and Doug Nelson. That I would say took my I guess threshold or tolerance for change to like the next level, because in those courses they were wanting you to do videos, and oh my god, I'd never done videos before. I'm gonna die doing a video. So I'd say that was like a big step out of my comfort zone for me. I had been, you know, doing all this reading, all this analysis, and I really think, looking back now, realizing just now, in fact, I had some analysis paralysis. I'm an engineer, right? So I had been attending these seminars, reading all this material, you know, doing all this personal development, and had really not taken any action at that point, like serious action. So the Catch Fire kicked me into that serious action and just, you know, threw me out of my comfort zone. And right after I finished the Catch Fire Associates, that's when I started my art blog, and that's when I got online and started having a coach and started putting myself out there and delivering a message on Facebook and sharing my art and sharing part of my personal story and sharing part of my family. All these things I'm mentioning are little changes that I've made along the way that got me where I am today.
That's a good point you made there, Cheryl, about getting in the habit of making changes. And they don't have to be big things, but sometimes the changes you can make, little tiny things. Now, one of the things, because I think all of us, most of us on this call here, and people watching have been or heard of the MMI with T. Harv Eker. One of the things that I took action on, which literally changed my financial picture for the long term and serves me, see, I think I also took it back in 2005. remember the jars they had in there, the jar system for managing money?
Yeah.
Yep.
The very next day, I didn't think about it, I didn't analyze it, and I'm an engineer. The very next day, I walked in the bank, and I sat down in the room. I remember it now. My wife was with me as well. I said, I want to open up 5 more accounts. So he said, oh, you want 6 accounts? I said, yeah. So I explained to him why I needed them. And from that very day, I didn't do the numbers exactly. It was like, instead of, was it 55, 10, 10, 10, 10, 5, I did like 90, like 2, 2, 2 or something. It was like, that's all I could afford at the time. But immediately, I got into the habit of putting money on the internet into the different accounts every time I got money coming in, every paycheck. And it was a habit that I have until today. And that's one of the key things that got me from being, and I've shared this before, and I always share this because it's a lesson, being 6 figures in debt, which is a terrible thing to be, to becoming totally and utterly debt-free, including the mortgage, in, let's see, I think it's 8 or 9 years. I forget. It's been so long now. I think it's 8 years. So that's one of the things I took action immediately, and it felt good. And it wasn't a big change, and I just didn't think about it. The same with the videos. Like Cheryl and I took the same course with CFU, and one of the things we had to do was to introduce ourselves on video, and it took me I don't know how many takes to finally get my video to introduce me, put it up onto YouTube. I mean, it's probably like 10 takes, literally, before I got something up there. But it's just taking action, and it's easy to do once you get in the habit. True or true?
True.
True. High five.
What about you, Jorge? What was your I guess mechanism of change, or what did you decide to ultimately start doing in order to make a change in your life?
I got to laugh at this one. I mean, when I was in college, I mean, basically what we did is follow the crowd. Everybody gets out of college, goes into a good company, and don't get me wrong, I like what I do. I like my marketing stuff, my classical marketing stuff. I love it. I mean, but at the end of the day, why did I wasn't educated to be an entrepreneur. I didn't want to. I was scared. I mean, have this change of mentality it was a fear for me, fear of the unknown. I don't know what to expect. I mean, I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur, period. But at a certain point, what I explained earlier is that I knew that I had to do it sooner or later. So I made a decision. Relating a little bit to the Catch Fire University, yes, when we had to read the book and do all the assignments and all the videos, like it was something out of my comfort zone. And making the videos, I'm scared to death, and I don't register well, and I'm in productions, I'm doing commercials all the time, and then suddenly I'm filming myself, and no, this doesn't work. This is perfectionist. And I learned that you don't have to be a perfectionist on your things, on these things. You have to be very natural in the things that you do. But the important part is that you just have to do it. You have to make that decision to move forward. Else you're gonna be stuck there in same mentality and building excuses for not doing something. So again, it's more forget about that word. I didn't say that word. Is being open-minded. Okay, let's do this. And what's the worst that can happen? So, I mean, you're already in a situation that you know what the outcome is going to be later on in the future. So what are you going to do now? Again, I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur. I had no idea where to start. But I knew there were people that were in the same situation I was, and that there were people that were willing to teach me how to do it. So that's the important part. So just dive in. I mean, it's what it's called all in. I mean, you just go for it. So basically, that's where I come from.
So I have a question for the audience, and if you've been on my Facebook or my blog, you've seen this before. So there's a lily pad in the middle of a pond, and there's 5 frogs on that lily pad. One of them decides to jump off. How many are left? Think about it. There's still 5.
I know the answer.
Because one decided, but once you decide, that's still not enough. You have to decide. You have to do it. You have to jump.
You have to take action.
That's a trick question, right?
And that's actually, it's a good point, Simon, because one of the things that I was going to highlight with what Jorge said was make a decision. It all starts with making a decision. And then here's the thing, guys. successful people make decisions quickly and they change their mind slowly. And broke people make decisions slowly and change their minds quickly. It's up to you to decide which one of those people that you want to be. And we're not asking you to stop doing what you're doing. We're not telling you that what you're doing is wrong. Like Jorge said, I enjoy what I do too. I'm a people person. I love seeing patients every day, but I can do it when I want to now, not because I have to. And my change, Simon, your story very much mirrors mine. You know, mine all started with an MMI. I went to one of these millionaire mind intensives, and I fully expected T. Harv Eker to be standing on stage. I don't know why. He wrote the book. I figured he'd be there, and he wasn't. And they, brought this bald guy, Doug, out, and I'm like, who the hell is this? Like, what is this all about? And through the whole weekend, Doug was talking about passive income, residual income, ongoing income, and I'm like, I went up to him on a break, and I'm like, dude, I'm an eye doctor. I don't know anything about this. They didn't teach me anything about anything, especially when it came to business or finances. How does someone like me start creating passive income? And that right there, that moment, that question, that decision is what started me on my journey to where I am right now. Taking the interest, taking the action to ask that question, to learn more about it, and then take action, implement what I learned. And that's what's gotten all of us here where we are today. We made a decision to make a change. We made a decision to learn something new, to try something new, and not give up. Not quit. Just keep going. So with just a few minutes left, I'm going to throw out my tip, and then we'll do a quick roundtable and we'll wrap this up. My tip for you will be make a decision and stick to it. Decide that you're going to make a change in your life for the better. Get out of your comfort zone and stick to it. And make sure that you follow up with whoever invited you to watch this hangout tonight and ask them something. Ask them a question. Make the decision to learn something new. Ask them a question and learn more. That's it. Cheryl.
Yeah, I guess my number one tip and what's really propelled me along my path and my journey is get around people who are doing the same thing as you, who are positive, who are supportive, who are inspiring you. Because if you're like me in a corporate environment, you're going to be around the people at your workplace, and that's a set of people. That's a mindset. When you're working to make a change, do something different in your life, you need to have other people around you that are also into change, making a change, and will support you, and you support them, of course, in making changes. So that's like number one for me.
That's a good one. I mean, what do they say, Simon? What is the rule? The 5 people you hang around with, their income tends to be, the average of those 5 people tends to be your income. Is that right?
I think so. It's so true. Well, it's four of us on the call here. So, hey, you know what? If you want to make a change, start hanging around with people who are agents of change. And there's 4 of us right here. You could be the 5th person, right?
There you go.
So I've got a quick tip here. It's a question that I'll attribute to Melanie Nelson. I first heard her give that, so I'll attribute it to her. It's a power question. And I ask this either subconsciously or out loud all the time. And if you want to write this down, I'll say it a couple of times. It's what do I want and how do I get it? What do I want and how do I get it? Because once you ask yourself that empowering question, it's no longer, well, why am I such a loser? Why does everything fail that I touch? It's, I want to get to here. What are the steps to go from here all the way across? So what do I want and how do I get it? Jorge.
My tip would be be careful with the sabotage elements. I mean, for example, some people like to say when they are presented an opportunity, they like to say, you know what, let me think about it. They start using that as an excuse to think about it too much. But that's at the end of the day to sabotage that they're doing themselves, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy. So, I mean, make a decision, like Dr. Steve said, make a decision to just go right to it and go all in. I mean, don't waste your time, because time doesn't come back. It just goes on. And and you're going to be closer to your goals if you make a decision now than tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can choose to be the victim and complain about everything that happens to you.
Absolutely.
Or you can go out there and take action and make things happen for you.
Right.
And it's all about perspective. It's all about making that decision and doing something to impart change on your life. And that's what we were talking about tonight, is making a change in your life. So, guys, look, it's just about 9:30. We like keeping these things to 30 minutes. Again, make sure that you follow up with the person that invited you here tonight and ask them something. Learn a little bit more. Make a decision to at least learn more about what we do. See if it's right for you. And if it's not, at least you made a decision, right? At least you made a decision to do something.
Exactly.
And whatever that change is, do what Simon said. That's a great, great tip. Ask yourself what it is that you want, because most people, when you ask them, they have no idea. So start there and then make a decision to go after it. So that's it, guys. We will see you next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, the All In Team. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you next time.
See you later.
Peace out.
Bye.